If anyone thought this was going to be easy, a much anticipated historic meeting could be over before it even starts.
North Korea fired off a blistering threat to the White House tonight, claiming it will cancel the summit if the U.S. tries to, quote, blackmail it into getting rid of its nuclear weapons. KIC on 9 political reporter Dave Bryan joins us now to explain exactly what happened. It's late tonight, right?
Well, so much for world peace and the historic summit, apparently. I mean, it's not a sure thing, but it certainly looks like it's moving in that direction. The bottom line is the summit with North Korea and the notion of an enduring peace and prosperity without nuclear weapons in the North may be crashing and burning tonight. At the center of the controversy are joint U.S.-South Korean military exercises, which North Korea wants stopped. Kim Jong-un declaring tonight that his country has no interest in having a summit with the U.S. if it's based on one-sided demands to give up nukes. Just 5 days ago, President Trump was soaking up the cheers at a rally in Indiana, confident his summit with Kim Jong-un was right on track.
Hopefully, I mean, for all of us, for the world, hopefully something very good is going to happen.
Now, North Korea is threatening to back out over combined South Korean and U.S. Air Force drills similar to this one conducted last year. Today, the North canceled a high-stakes meeting with South Korea set for tomorrow and warned the United States will also have to undertake careful deliberations about the fate of the planned North Korea-U.S. summit in light of this provocative military ruckus jointly conducted with the South Korean authorities. State Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert.
They're exercises that are legal. They're planned well in advance.
When President Trump accepted Kim's invitation to meet back in March, then CIA Director, now Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, was under the impression Kim would not object to the military drills.
He's allowed to continue our exercises on the peninsula, something that's been fought over for decades.
The South Korean National Security Advisor was told the same.
He understands that the routine joint military exercises between the Republic of Korea and the United States must continue.
Last week, the president acknowledged the summit could always fall through.
Everything can be scuttled. Everything can be scuttled.
Even if there is eventually a summit, which seems less and less likely now, the experts warn the president should be wary of any promises made by the North Koreans.
We have many agreements with North Korea, but every single time it fell apart over verification because they're not following through on their promises and agreements made. So I would say we need to proceed with caution and some skepticism here.
But other experts say North Korea threatening to scuttle the summit could simply be a negotiating tactic.
The North Korean leadership doesn't hold summits unless they think they will get something for it in return. In some cases, it's literal cash. In other cases, it's concessions and political benefits.
Scenes like this of Trump celebrating the release of 3 American detainees from North Korea could have inflated expectations.
We want to thank Kim Jong-un, who really was excellent to these 3 incredible people.
But President Trump himself had recently hinted at tactics similar to Kim's, making his own threat to walk away from talks.
If I think that it's a meeting that is not going to be fruitful, we're not going to go.
Now, South Korea called North Korea's cancellation of their talks tonight regrettable and demanded a quick return to the meetings. Meanwhile, in Washington, the State Department says the U.S. has not heard anything directly from Pyongyang or Seoul that would change the summit plan. So they continue to plan the meeting between President Trump and Kim Jong-un. Jeff, Lena, who knows what comes next?